by Professor Santosh Kapuria on CSIR vision in civil engineering, building roads and bridges.
A very good morning. At the outset, I would like to thank INSA and particularly CSIR for giving me this opportunity to talk about CSIR's vision in civilian infrastructure engineering. I have slightly modified the topic, so now it is civilian infrastructure engineering. It is really a privilege, and it is all the more privilege because when I was studying in ISC Bangalore, my master's, Professor Sierra Rao was the director, and I was really mesmerized by the orientation talk he gave. And today it's another privilege for me to talk when he's sitting in the audience. So I just, because this is a term which needs to be understood in the context. So infrastructure, when you talk about, if you look at the dictionary, it is the infrastructure of a country and society or organization consists of the basic facilities such as transport, communication, power supplies, buildings, which enable it to function. And the World Bank 2017 talks about these are the things which are part of the infrastructure. Now, of course, I will be talking about some of them. And if you look at the global perspective, infrastructure actually constitutes about 14% of the global GDP. And if you look at the investment that is required, 3.7 trillion US dollar, and another additional US dollar 1 trillion annually is needed for sustainable development goals. If you are to develop your infrastructure in a way which meets the sustainable development goals. And if you look at where we are, of course, if you look at this side, then the area of activity has shifted from the west to this part of the world. But even then, if you look at the major chunk is being taken by China, and we are actually, in terms of investment, we are not very high. So therefore, this only shows that how, in terms of investment, India also has to put forward its own, claim its own area. Now, in terms of India, we actually need the 50 trillion US rupees by 2020 to realize the sustainable goal. That is the estimate. And by 2022, we are supposed to be the largest construction market in the world. Now, so therefore, essentially, this is the perspective in which we see infrastructure development in the country, civil infrastructure. And then, so for that, what is the outlook that CSIR has today? That is what I will be talking in the next 15 minutes. Now, these are and recently CSIR, as some of my previous speakers were telling, that recently CSIR has reorganized itself into a number of themes. And so infrastructure, civil and infrastructure engineering is one of the themes. And these are the laboratories. Many laboratories, of course, you can see that they have their complementary skills and expertise which contribute to this theme. And I belong to Structural Engineering Research Center. If you look at Structural Engineering Research Center, then Central Building Research Institute and the Central Road Research Institute, these are the basic civil engineering laboratories, 3 civil engineering laboratories, which are the backbone of this activity in CSIR, and aided by many like mechanical CMERI, and then you have the AMPLI and many others, CGCRI and so on and so forth, many others in this field, which is important. Now, in terms of GDP growth, so if you are really having good infrastructure, that actually sort of tells you that 9 to 10% GDP growth can be guaranteed if you have the relevant infrastructure in your country. And for the sustainable infrastructure, as you know that we need to satisfy these three things. One is the sustainable development goals, another is the disaster risk reduction, which is the Sendai framework that we need to satisfy. And then we have also United Nations framework for the Convention on Climate Change. So these three things, it is very, today, we cannot talk about infrastructure without, talking about any of the three goals, that is there. So therefore, all our actions should be in this direction. So this is the theme, vision of the theme that we have come up with. I'm not going to read this. So some of the initiatives that we think that the country needs and we must take, I'll be just, because I cannot talk about the whole spectrum possibly, but some of them are here. Now one of the things that we believe that in terms of the energy, renewable energy, if you look at the, we need to shift more and more to renewable energy. That's the accepted paradigm today. And in terms of, if you look at the Indian scenario, this is the installed capacity of renewable energy, 78 gigawatt. And now this is about 22% of the total installed energy capacity. Now compare this with Germany. In northern Germany, 100% is renewable energy. Okay, so if you have to go into that paradigm, what other things needs to be done? That we need to think today. If you don't think, then we will again, all the time this country has the habit of missing the bus, and we'll be again missing the bus. So if you have to think that, what is the future and how we can reach this, very high figure in terms of percentage, one of the things that we must do is to go for offshore, harvesting energy from offshore. And as you know that we have a long coastline, and not only that, we also have 370 kilometers extended to the sea, which is our zone. Okay, so we can do whatever we want in that area. So therefore, the global perspective is that we must go for offshore wind energy. That means harvesting wind energy from offshore area. Because why the reason being that the area is not a problem, there is no land issue, and secondly, you have a very steady sort of speed for wind, which is very good for the energy harvesting. And not only that, you can then combine the wind also with the wave energy and also the solar, that you can do. So you can combine at least these three forms of energy. And our director NIO was telling me that you can also combine the woodec energy that is possible. So if you can combine all these energy, all are renewable forms. So that is one thing that we must, direction we must take. And so what are the challenges? The challenges is that, easier said than done. The challenges remains that the structure that you have to develop. Now, one of the things that is very different in India is that if you have to go for offshore in India, mostly you have to go for a deeper area. That means you cannot have fixed platforms and then on the top of it you will have your wind turbines. So you have to go to deeper area, and as you go to deeper area, you have to have floating sort of platforms. And these floating platforms can be costly. The question is that how do you now, because the problem is that tomorrow it is going to come, and already, as I said, I think I should say that already a first offshore wind project has been sanctioned, 1 gigawatt, and that is going to come in next 5 to 10 years, but it will be completely done by Europe. Okay, the technology is European technology. Now the question, as CSIR, what we feel that we must develop the capability of having this kind of designing this kind of structure for platform, so that we can take this not only platform, also the wind turbine and so on and so forth, so that we can have our own technology, and that will essentially reduce the cost. Because right now the cost is very high, and possibly will not be it will not be affordable. So therefore, this is what it is. So right now it is highly costly. So therefore it needs optimization of structural systems, integration of the various RE resources and common operation and maintenance teams for facilities. Now, so this is how we are going to reduce the cost. But there are many. One of the things that I always feel is that everyone thinks that what is there in civil engineering, and nowadays we don't get good students. Hardly everybody goes to computer engineering. But if you look at this, the challenges, you will see that it's absolutely exciting area to be in. And some of our fellows community also may look into this. That hydrodynamic loading analysis of because these are very highly nonlinear systems, and nonlinear system analysis, stability and control is an issue that needs to be looked into. Fatigue is because it's highly, because all the time it is vibrating. So therefore, fatigue is an issue. Structural health monitoring is an issue. So all these things, if you have to do, it's really a technologically challenging thing that we need to embark on. So we have already, we are going to take a project on this, in this direction. Next, if you look at the transport and smart cities, some of the things that we are doing is that, for example, very often we hear or we read in the newspaper that some bridge somewhere is collapsing. Goa Bridge, Calcutta Bridge, many bridges collapse. But there is no need for that. Actually, there are technologies which we have developed by which you can actually at any point of time assess the strength of the health of a bridge or a structure. I'm just taking an example. There are also buildings collapses. Now, so therefore, there is an online system of structural health monitoring which has been there for some time, and is another challenging area that SCRC and some of the CSIR laboratories are very good at. I'll come to that in a little, slightly ahead of my talk. And then there are remotely piloted aerial vehicle for bridge monitoring. I'll also talk about that in a while. Sustainable road pavements in high altitude regions. That is one, our CRRI has started doing this. And this performance-based retrofitting, because many of the bridges across the country, there are about 1 lakh bridges. And many of them, 70% of them are very old. And so therefore, what do you do with these aging bridges? And so therefore, you need to do retrofitting. Because we are a country, we cannot just say that we will not use these bridges. So therefore, there are very, very scientifically developed performance-based retrofitting techniques that we have developed, which are being used for doing this job for many bridges. Now, one of the things that is very futuristic and we must do is for digital twins for critical infrastructure. Just for example, you have this actual physical infrastructure, but you also develop a digital twin of it. And then whatever loading and whatever things, aging and things are happening in this structure, you subject this one, the digital one, which is there in your computer, the same thing. So therefore, at any point of time, if you see that, so you should be able to know what is the state by seeing this model itself. Of course, by connecting these two, it cannot be totally independent, connecting these two by some measurements and then validating. Okay, so that if you do, then you at any point of time, by looking at your computer, you will be able to say that what is the state of health of the structure. So if you can do for critical structures like long span bridges, like offshore structures which are there, so then it will be a in terms of the ensuring the safety and integrity, this will go a long way. And similarly, CBRI has building energy management and information system, which actually these are the things that we can do. We are doing basically for smart cities. CBRI has energy management system so for buildings by which you can actually minimize the energy consumption for buildings. Now this this is one little bit science I would like to talk about in terms of the structural health monitoring. Now structural health monitoring, if I just have to tell you in very briefly. So what it does is that it used to be, the paradigm used to be that you have some signal response of the structure when it was in a pristine, undamaged condition, right? And then as it has, been operated for some time, then you take some response and then compare with the previous response which was there in the undamaged case. And if you see the difference between these two, then you know that there is some problem, there is some damage which might have caused this thing. So therefore, so that was but the problem here is that the baseline undamaged may change not because of damage, but because of many other things like environmental parameters. So therefore, this new paradigm of baseline free damage detection has come into the picture, and we are actually able to do some of the latest things, not latest, I would say the cutting edge in terms of the lamb wave propagation. So we are able to locate damages exactly by giving ultrasonic, actuating lamb waves through, pipes and things like that. So for long pipelines, if you have this kind of a system, then at any point of time you will be able to tell that where exactly, if there is a damage, where that damage has come. So so this is one thing that we are doing for bridge. We are actually implementing this kind of structural health monitoring. This is a photograph of common bridge, which you can see, and we have instrumented the whole bridge and then told them what is the state of the bridge, and then after that they are actually recommissioned the bridge, which some of you may be aware in the slope. And this is another thing that we are doing, is that across the country we have enhanced the capacity of many bridges by using our technology, where you are sort of, because these piers are very old and it cannot take loads like this, and so minimize that load. We have introduced some technology, and by these railways basically are using this thing. So this is the mobile inspection unit which has been developed by CBRI. These are some of the materials, new generation materials that we are working on. And so this is very, very high level science for new material using CNT carbon nanotubes, introducing that in the new materials that we are doing. We are also talking about 3D printing. We are taking initiative on that so that we can develop we can be future ready. I have just one or two slides. So this is one technology that CRRI has developed for cold mix. That means without increasing the temperature, if you look for the road pavement, without increasing the temperature, you can make the mix and then you can do it. Disaster resilience, some of the things I think we can talk about. Multi-hazard design, that means combining cyclone, with, for example, earthquake with fire, earthquake with tsunami. This happens, but today the design paradigm doesn't support that. So going into that direction is extremely important. Fire engineering is also, we are very good at that. CBRI is doing some of these labs. And then this is the last slide, where for the first time in the country, aircraft hardened shelters. For if the enemy puts a bomb of 2000 lb, pound bomb into this, then this shelter will protect the aircraft. Okay, so we are actually designing that, and so therefore this is a lot of science which goes into this, because here you have very high strain rate which is there into the material, so the material behavior is very different, and so on, so on, so on. So with this, I think I
thank you very much, Kapuria.